Hello, Rattlers. It is me, Miss Guerra, and I am super excited about the spring book that I am going to read to you today. I found this book on Mayan, and this book is an Easter book. Easter is one of the holidays that some people celebrate during the springtime. So I thought that this book, Happy Easter Gus, would be a fun one for us to read today. Now, I always click on that blue info button to make sure that I can find my book level. This one's a 2.6, and my quiz number. Quiz number here is 85695. So you might want to write that down somewhere so that you have it ready for when you finish the book and you're ready to take the quiz. Now I'm ready to read, so I'm going to click on Read. There are so many books to read on Mayan, and if I haven't done a read aloud on a book that you would like me to read aloud, feel free to let me know in our AR channel on your electives team. Just send it to me in the chat box. If you ever want to read a book and have it read out loud to you, you can always click on the play button at the bottom of your screen, and the book will read it out loud for you. But today I'm going to read for you Happy Easter Gus. It was written by Jacqueline Williams and illustrated by Doug Cushman. Gus and Bean raced through the park on their bikes. The town was having its annual Easter egg hunt. They did not want to be late. This year, the prize for finding the most eggs was a gigantic chocolate rabbit. Gus was sure he was going to win. He had practiced hiding eggs and finding them all year long. So what was Gus doing all year long that made him sure he was going to win? Knock, knock, said Bean. Who's there? Asked Gus. Lettuce, asked Bean. Lettuce who? Asked Larry. Let us hurry or we'll miss the fun, said Bean. Good one, laughed Gus. Mr. Chase, the principal, had been busy hiding eggs in the park all morning. At noon, a crowd of happy, noisy children gathered around him. Billy was there, impatiently waiting for things to get started. Do you guys see Billy? Which one of those characters looks like they are impatiently waiting? If you pointed to this guy, I think you're right. I think that's Billy. Knock, knock, said Bean. Who's there? Asked Gus. Harry, answered Bean. Harry who? Asked Gus. I hope we hurry up and start hunting for eggs, said Bean. Before Gus could laugh, Mr. Chase made an announcement. First, we are going to play a game. Then we are going to look for eggs, he said. Everyone choose a partner and line up for the egg toss, shouted Mr. Chase. Bean walked over and stood next to Gus. Mr. Chase gave each pair of children an egg. Knock, knock, said Bean. Who's there? Asked Gus. Stan, answered Bean. Stan who? Asked Gus. Stand over there and I'll toss you the egg, said Bean. Bean tossed Gus the egg. Gus caught it and tossed it back. Knock, knock, said Bean. Who's there? Asked Gus. Quack, answered Bean. Quack who? Asked Gus. If we quack the eggs, will lose," said Bean. The children tossed their eggs back and forth. One by one, the teams dropped their eggs. Then they dropped out of the game. Finally, there were only 2 teams left. Bean tossed the egg to Gus. "Hey, Gus," said Billy, "don't forget to catch it." Gus caught the egg and tossed it back to Bean. "Very funny, Billy," said Gus. "So funny I forgot to laugh." "No fair, Billy," said Bean. "You're making us nervous." Splat! The egg slipped through Gus's fingers and landed on his shoe. "You won't forget to laugh now," chuckled Billy, "because it looks like the yolk's on you." Oh, man. Billy was making everyone so nervous that poor Gus dropped an egg on his shoe. "It looks like the winners of the egg toss are Billy and his partner," said Mr. Chase. "And now it's time for the exciting hunt. Before we begin, I want to explain the rules. You have exactly 15 minutes to collect eggs." He held up a beautiful blue basket. On a bed of bright green plastic grass lay a gigantic chocolate rabbit wrapped in shiny gold paper. Whoever finds the most eggs wins this extremely wonderful prize. So grab your baskets, get ready, get set, go! Mr. Chase shouted. The children began to scatter. Billy shoved Gus to one side. "Out of my way," he said. "Winner coming through." Gus spied an egg hiding in a big bush and rushed toward it. As Gus reached in the bush to grab the egg, Billy jumped out from behind it. "Roar!" he yelled. "Yikes!" shrieked Gus. He stumbled head first into the bush. So why did he stumble head first into that bush? If you said that it was because Billy scared him, you are right. He jumped right out behind that bush and yelled at him. That would scare me too. Sharp, finger-like branches reached out and grabbed Gus and his basket. First, they poked Gus in the arm. Then they poked a hole in the bottom of his basket. Gus struggled free. Billy howled with laughter. Gus made a face at Billy and headed off and searched for more eggs. Billy followed close behind. First, Gus found a striped egg. He put it in his basket. It slipped out and rolled away. Billy grabbed it. Next, Gus found a spotted egg. He put it in his basket. It slid out. Billy snatched it up. On and on went Gus, picking up eggs and putting them into his basket. But what was happening to the eggs when he was putting it into his basket? That's right. They all slipped and slid right out. On and on went the eggs, sliding and slipping back out. On and on went Billy, scooping them up and filling his own basket. Gus got so excited looking for eggs he did not notice he was losing them as fast as he was finding them. 4 more minutes, announced Mr. Chase. The children scampered around to be sure all the eggs had been found. "Time's up," Mr. Chase shouted. The children headed back. On his way, Billy spied one last egg. It was the biggest one yet. With this one, I'll win the prize for sure, he thought. Billy tucked the egg under his arm and hurried on. Suddenly, he let out a loud holler. "Yikes!" he screamed. "It's after me!" Billy dropped his basket and ran. Hissing and honking, the mother goose ran after him. That goose did not want Billy messing with her egg. "Everyone count their eggs," said Mr. Chase. "Let's find out who the winner is." Gus looked at his empty basket. What's going on here?" he grumbled. "It looks as though my eggs are still hiding." "Look what I just found," said Bean. "My eggs!" shouted Gus. Bean handed Gus Billy's basket. Gus counted his eggs. "I have 10, he said. "Does anyone have more than 10 eggs?" asked Mr. Chase. No one did. "Then the winner is Gus with 10 eggs, Mr. Chase said. Everyone cheered. Mr. Chase handed Gus the prize. "Thank you," said Gus. Just then Billy ran past the crowd. The goose followed close behind. Everyone laughed and laughed. "Knock, knock," said Bean. "Who's there?" asked Gus. "Orange," answered Bean. "Orange who?" asked Gus. "Orange, you going to share your prize with your best friend?" said Bean. The end. I hope you guys liked that Easter story. There are more Gus books on Mayan. So if you like the Gus series, you can always go back to Mayan and search for Gus books. And I'll show you how to do that while I have you here. If you go to the search feature in Mayan and you type in the word Gus, hit that search button, scroll down and you will see all of the Gus books. There are even Gus books in Spanish. So if you are a Spanish speaker and a Spanish reader, these would be great books. You can read the book in Spanish and take the test in Spanish, and then you can go back and read the book in English and take the test in English as well. Make sure that you are not getting confused, and if you are, just go back to sticking with the English books. Thank you guys so much for listening to my springtime Easter story today, and I can't wait to read with you again.